Hey everyone, it's Anna. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for visiting. I first of all want to welcome you to 2023. I cannot believe that we're already into a new year and it's the first day of January, and I don't know about you, but I was ready to move on to a new year. I had had enough of 2022. Of course, I say that in 2023 is probably going to be the pits too, but I was ready to move on. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I've got for you today. As we move into a new month, I have a new limited edition red rubber set from Impression Obsession to introduce you to. And so I'm happy to be doing that today. They went for a Valentine's type of a theme for January. So we've got the images here. There's a couple of really beautiful wreath hearts. So these could, I think, be Victorian, or they could be maybe colored up really like a country style. Looks like they're both made either out of straw or maybe grapevine. This wreath here has the flowers on both sides with the bow in the middle, and then this wreath down here has just the flowers on one side, really. And I was looking at this image as well. I think this would be really pretty at Christmas time. You could paint these roses red or color them red, and then these look like holly leaves to me, so you could highlight the green of those holly leaves, and I think this would be a really beautiful wreath to use at Christmas time. And then the other image in the set is this rose bundle here. You could either color it as 2 roses or maybe 2 roses and 2 buds and 2 leaves, but really sweet little image there. I love the bows on this particular set. And then the sentiments that we have in this set are stop and smell the roses, I love you, and happy Valentine's Day, as well as that love is all there is all we know of love, from Emily Dickinson. So really nice sentiments included. And of course, in, typical Impression Obsession fashion, these are lovely red rubber cling mount sets or stamps. So a really, really nice set. So let me go ahead and show the cards that I made using these lovely images and a couple of the sentiments. So my first card here uses the Happy Valentine's Day sentiment and that small rose cluster. I colored it as though the roses were yellow, and then I chose aqua to use for the beautiful bow. I used the Emily Dickinson sentiment to add some visual interest in the background, and even on my card base here on the outside edges, you can see where I stamped that sentiment just to add a little bit of interest there. I stamped Happy Valentine's Day in black, so it would pop out a little bit more from my colored image, which was actually stamped in sepia ink, VersaFine Vintage Sepia ink. I think this turned out really pretty. And then all my cards today I watercolored, well, except for one, I colored with Copic markers, but 3 of the 4 I'm going to share with you today were watercolored, and I did splatter them with a pearl and a gold watercolor pigment. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that, but it's really beautiful and kind of shimmery in different spots in real life. So there's that card for you. The next card that I have to share with you is done on some watercolor paper, and this image was also stamped in the VersaFine Vintage Sepia ink, and it is this one here. This is a permanent ink, so you can watercolor over it once it's dry. And I used my shimmer watercolors to paint this image. You can see the shimmer of the roses, and then there's gold shimmer paints on the bow. And I made sure to paint where the ribbon comes down and wraps around the wreath. I made sure to paint those areas gold as well. And then I love the blue background of this particular painting, so I wanted to use a blue panel here on the card. I added some of the Dollar Tree cotton ribbon here for a little accent, and then a fun twine bow. And I've been asked a little bit lately about the twine that I use, and this is the twine that I use. That's in the light color. It's a May Arts twine, and it is in the color SM09. There's that. And you can pick this up from May Arts. You can pick it up on Amazon. And then I also have this one as well. This is more of a light brown color, and this roll is not from May Arts, but May Arts sells the exact same twine. So moving right along here, I also used my faux tracing wheel to add some, or my tracing wheel to add some faux stitchings here along this left-hand side. And if you are new to my channel and you're not sure what a tracing wheel is, this is my favorite crafting tool. This is a tracing wheel used by seamstresses when they're working with their patterns. And this fun serrated wheel leaves perfect faux stitching lines on paper and cardstock. So that's the tool that I use to add these little dots down the outside edge. So I think this card turned out really, really beautiful. And I also splattered this one just lightly with the pink, the shimmering pink and the gold shimmering watercolor paints. So I think that one turned out really lovely. My favorite card that I made for the release is this one. And again, I went with the watercolored design and stamped the image again in sepia, vintage sepia. And added a little bit more of distressing in the background here. You can see where I've actually splashed some water droplets on the paper and lifted some of that ink. And I think this turned out really beautiful. And here where I painted for the shadow behind the wreath, it interacted or reacted with the distress ink that I have on the watercolor panel. And it gave me that really fun shadow look to that. This little wood button is inspired by Jill Norwood, of course. She purchased some of these on Amazon, and of course I had to immediately pause her video, run off and find where these buttons were for sale on Amazon so I could pick up some and use them myself. So thanks for that inspiration, Jill. I also added just a little piece of that cotton ribbon from the Dollar Tree, as well as this is the slightly darker twine that I just shared with you. There was also this little pink gingham piece of cardstock in my paper scrap pile. And so I thought it worked really nicely with this image. And and maybe you can actually see some of that gold shimmer and pearl shimmer watercolor. There's some of it up here that looks really beautiful. So, but that's my favorite card that I made. And then I have one more card to share with you, and it's this one here. Again, I used the little rose cluster, and this one is colored with Copic markers and uses the Happy Valentine's Day sentiment. And then along the side here, just for some visual texture, I used the Stitching Borders 2 die set and just ran this through my die cutting machine, and it left the impressions then of this die in the top of my card here. So that's how that technique is created. And then on this image, even though I colored it with Copic markers, I still wanted to give it a little bit of a splatter. So I chose the pink shimmer watercolor pigments to splatter on my project. So I think the cards turned out really cute. And this one I think is just beautiful. And I'm happy to have these to share with you. And I look forward to popping a couple of these off in the mail to some friends. So thanks again so much. I will put links to the Impression Obsession site down below where you can find this month's limited edition red rubber set. And again, this is for January 2023. And these beautiful images are available to you for a short time. So check the links below. Thanks so much for watching my video, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.